Promise I'm getting to your narrative essays. I had the stomach virus. My daughter got the stomach virus. Anyway, but I kind of wanted to take a moment to go over these motifs and themes and all that for the birthmark. And so I just uploaded a literary devices worksheet. And so I'm going to open that and just kind of talk a little bit. So this worksheet, again, I gave it to my students in my face-to-face class, and I'm not going to ask for it, but I do want to see this kind of stuff in the essay. So it will help you tremendously if you print it off or just type it in. You can delete the line. I uploaded the Word document version, so that way you can, do whatever you want with it. All right. So let's talk about make sure that that discussion board is over onto yours. It should be discussions, birthmark discussion board. Yeah. Okay, good. And you guys are, so I'll get those in for you. All right. Sorry about that. I believe that was over there. So let's look at some of this. And again, I think we've got mostly analogies, symbolism, exaggeration, a lot of these, but I want to come down to things like trope, motif, themes. So what is a trope? What is a trope in literature? So a trope in literature, it is a theme. So a trope and a theme are kind of the same. A lot of these overlap. And so is a motif, right? And so they all kind of overlap. But they're a little bit different in like a trope is like an overly used theme. It's like a cliche theme. A cliche theme here would be the mad scientist. That's a trope in here. Another trope here is like the damsel in distress, that's kind of a trope. So they're kind of a common or overused theme. So the main trope is a symbolism of the birthmark itself, the sign of imperfection, right? So we see that quite a bit. That's a trope. A motif is the dominant theme. So like nature versus science. So that's a motif. It's like a dominant central theme. So a trope is also a motif, but it can be like overly used. And so they're just words that interchange. You can choose whichever one you think is the coolest, I guess you can say. So if you like motif more than you like trope, then discuss them as motifs. But a theme, the one thing that I would stray from is I would stray from just calling them all themes, right? Because a theme is just a subject, right? It's just the theme of, nature versus science. Yeah, that's a theme, but it's a really dominant theme. So it's really more of a motif. And nature versus science is kind of overly used, so it's also a trope, right? So it's all kind of the same thing. And again, you can discuss which one you seem to like the best. I did put some stuff just from Google, just from the tone. How does Hawthorne, how does he set the tone for this, right? So he has what's called distance, means that the narrator is distant from the story. He's just telling the story. We have some imagery and symbolism, some character psychology. So we're looking at the psychology of the character. And so you can read over that about how does it set the tone? And it would help you tremendously to look at the names. What does Almer mean? What does Georgiana mean? What does Aminadab mean? What do their names mean? Because they are symbols. Almer, Georgiana, and Aminadab are actually symbols for a bigger idea. And so I think I'm going to do a bonus discussion board here in just a moment, looking at their names and how are they symbols in the bigger story and what's going on. So I just wanted to take a moment and really talk about trope, motif, and theme and how they're kind of the same thing. Um, they're kind of the same thing, but they have a little bit, they're a little bit different. They're a little bit different. And of course, you've got these. So you're more than welcome to print this out, or you're more than welcome to do whatever you want. But this is the kind of stuff that I want to see in a literary analysis, because a literary analysis essay only asks us to analyze that work of literature. All right, so take a look at this. Take a look at this worksheet that I just gave you guys. And I do have these printed out. So if you're on campus and you need a printed version of these, then you are welcome to get a printed version of them. All right. Take care. Let me know. Again, I got the stomach virus, so that's not fun. But I do have just a few essays from my 8 o'clock class to grade. I always grade the students with the lab first because the students who have to go to a lab afterwards to get extra help, they need a little bit more time to revise their essays. So I always grade their essays first, and then I go back and grade the students who don't have a lab. So you guys are right after the students, right after my 8 a.m. class. I will start grading yours. All right, take care. Let me know if you need anything.